Hey there. Right about now, I am guessing that you are listening to this podcast while you're juggling rosters and emails and sipping lukewarm coffee and refreshing your Shopify dashboard for the 100th time. Welcome to the Bringing Business to Retail podcast, where we talk all about solutions that help your business make more money. Yes, my friends, Black Friday is finally here. I know how nuts this time of year can be. You've got the sales coming in. Maybe your systems are creaking a little bit. Your team may be texting you at 8 a.m. But here's the thing. Amidst all of the madness, I wanted to bring you something short, sharp, and powerful. A little sanity saver, packed with strategy. Now, this just isn't another Black Friday podcast. This is a mashup. Gold from 3 of our most practical powerhouse episodes. You're going to hear about how tweaking one little word like specials to the most popular can literally increase your average order value overnight. You'll hear how a former nurse Natalie grew her fabric store to a multi-million-dollar operation and a little snippet of what she did to make that happen. And we're wrapping it up with how one store turned a simple subscription box into guaranteed recurring revenue, 7 figures of. Now, the freedom that comes with that is absolutely, I was going to say indescribable. I think you can describe it. It is freaking awesome. Now, all 3 of these clips have something in common. They're going to show you how people buy, how business owners can pivot, and how you can build real, reliable income, even in the chaos of the holiday season. I chose these because they're hyper relevant to what you might be experiencing now in this peak season. Because what you hear today could change the way that you run your store, not just next week, but also next year. Let's kick off with how one phrase, most popular, can shift how people buy. Trust me, this one is going to make you rethink your homepage headlines and your in-store displays.
If we use a study like we spoke about social proof earlier, which is this idea that people are more likely to pick the most popular option. So there was a wonderful study cited in Nancy Harhert's book, Using Behavioral Science in Marketing, which tweaked the design of a menu at a restaurant in the States. One of the menu listed the specials as specials. It just called them specials and then talked about the baked ricotta or whatever else it would be. And then in another menu, so this was on a different day with a different population of people, they would change the title of the specials and call it our most popular specials, which was true. But they were the most popular specials at that time.
Because they were specials.
Because they were specials and people picked them and there weren't any others. So they were the most popular. And so in a randomized control trial, what you do is you show those 2 variants, so the control, which says specials, and the variant, which says most popular, to different groups of people a number of times in order to figure out how the behavior changes. And what they found in that example was that people were far more likely to pick the specials if they were listed as most popular specials rather than if they were listed as specials. They also found, interestingly, that individuals ended up spending more when it was listed as most popular. So individuals would buy a main meal and then a special to share because they were enthralled by this idea of getting a most popular dish. But you can only do that if you compare the variant, which was the most popular version, with the control, which was the standard version. And you're comparing the difference in behavior between the populations. And what you're looking for is these overarching heuristics, these overarching biases that affect the entire population to some degree, rather than something that might affect your husband, for example, because he has a different love language than you. So all the things I'm talking about here have been proven, or at least attempted to be proven, in these sort of wide, nationally representative sample sizes in these randomized control trials, which means, for your listeners, retailers, this stuff should be effective if you apply it to your business because it should work on the majority of people, or at least that's what's been proven in some of these studies.
I love that. And I've just written some notes down and we'll come back to those because I have so many questions. I love psychology. I've not studied it. I've studied it as a human and I'm deeply interested in it. And I always am looking at why do we do the things we do? So thank you so much for sharing this. But I have a question around, you talked about reciprocity and, the herd mentality and feeling like we're obligated. Does what we value, or does the value that we put on something during the holiday season change? So for example, I might look at a sweater and any other time of the year, I'm like, yeah, whatevs. But then when Christmas comes, all of a sudden it changes. And it might be because it is a gift. It might be because I'm going to go to several parties and I know I'm going to need a sweater for all of those and I can see that it would work for all of those things? Or is it because I want somebody to, think that I'm a big spender or I think that I'm a great gift giver? Like how does what we value and what we're prepared to spend change during the holiday season?
There's some really interesting studies about this. Danny Zane, who's a professor who came on the Nudge podcast a few times, he conducted some really interesting studies last year, which looked at how customers react differently during these sort of national event days. So he didn't specifically look at Christmas because it's too commonplace. He looked at events that are a bit smaller, sort of National Soup Day or International Spelling Bee Day or something like that. And what he did is in his randomized controlled trials, he would show participants offers that a company was sharing, say 50% off our latest artwork. And then he would send that email to a group of people and see how many people bought. And for another group of people, he would link it to a national day. So I think in the example, it was something like 30% off all of our artwork today because it is International Art Day. And he found that when the deal was linked to a National Day of Awareness, sales actually increased. What was really interesting about this, and I think a very interesting application for the listeners, is that these national days of awareness don't even have to be official. Well, there was one company, he ran a lot of these studies, they have 5 different sort of experiments going at one. They write them all up in a paper to sort of get some validity behind the results. And one of the companies, I think, was a pet grooming service. And he wanted to come up with a national day for pet grooming. There's no International Pet Grooming Day, unsurprisingly. But so what he did is he created the anniversary of the birth of their mascot. Now, that's a totally irrelevant day because they just created their mascot one day and it just happened to fall on that day. But then on the anniversary of that day, they sent their customers an email and said, it's the anniversary of our mascot, Dewey the dog, whatever its name was. Because of this anniversary, we're giving you 30% off. They sent that email to one group of customers, another email to another group of customers saying, we're giving you 30% off. Turns out when you link it again, even to a made up day, so anniversary of our mascot, people bought more because it was linked to this special day. So what Danny Zane was finding from all of these studies is that we have this sort of ingrained bias for a willingness to purchase increasing during a day of national significance, even if that national day of significance is totally created out of thin air by the company. So you can imagine how this scales up for something like Christmas. It's even more impactful when it's a day of significance that absolutely all of your friends follow, that absolutely everyone in your family is going to be engaged with. You feel this deep sense that you need to be part of it, essentially.
Okay, if that didn't make you want to rewrite your product descriptions and relabel your top sellers, I don't know what will. People buy what other people buy, and now you have the science to back it up. Speaking of strategy and mindset, let's shift gears. This next story dives into the reality of growing a business from scratch, the messy middle, the math, and why starting before you're ready is sometimes the best move you'll ever make. That is very much along the same vein as how I started out, believe it or not. So I used to sew reusable cloth nappies, modern cloth nappies. And when I opened the store, we sold pre-made ones, but we also started selling the fabric because I wanted this really beautiful fabric, but I had to order 100 meters of it from China.
Right.
And so you're like, but I only need 2 meters. What do I do with the other 80 meters? And so I started selling the rest of it on parenting and sewing forums. And so I would OG crowdsourcing. I'd just be like, you pay me and I'll do the ordering and the importing just so I can have my 2 meters of fabric.
Oh, right? Yeah, totally understand that.
So the digital patterns, did you go into this for it being to be your whole business, or was it just a little thing on the side that you were doing for a bit of extra income?
Yeah, I did it in the beginning on the side with the hopes that one day I could quit my nursing job. I was a nurse, an RN, and I liked being a nurse. It's not that I didn't like it, but I thought I really love being creative. And I like to share any knowledge that I learn and pick up with others. And I thought, oh, well, this would be a good outlet. And I knew it would take a while. I just didn't know it would be years. I figured, well, months. It'll take off in months and I'll be able to quit my job. And in hindsight, time does go so fast. So really, it didn't take that long. It was 4 years, I think, or 3 years before I could quit my nursing job. But I'm so glad that I started before I knew everything, if you know what I mean.
Oh, yes, yes. I have to ask you, because this is one of the questions I ask all of our clients when they come in, which is, you came in with the goal of quitting the nursing job. And obviously you had some sales coming in. Did you ever reverse engineer? Okay, so I'm selling a pattern for $20. I'm making, $80,000 a year, which means I'm going to have to sell this number of patterns to be able to quit. Did you ever do that?
So funny enough, after about a year, I did that because I thought, wait a second, why am I not making much money? And then I went, oh, I have to sell a lot of patterns to make that kind of money. So it took me a little bit to catch on. Eventually got there and I thought, okay, I need more than patterns, obviously.
Which is interesting because patterns come with such a high margin. Like once you make it, it's gravy after that.
Right. Yeah, it should be. I don't know why some people can get to a place where they're comfortable with that amount of money coming in because most of it's profit on the PDF patterns. But for me, I never kind of hit it big. I was never really in the in crowd, so to speak. I didn't know how to get there. I'm not super great at networking because even though I'm emotionally intelligent and I can talk in a crowd and be comfortable, I'm an introvert at heart. So I always feel when I'm networking that I'm bothering people. It's such a problem, So I didn't really know how to get to a platform where people could find me and know about me. So it did take me a while to realize, I just have to show up even if 10 people are on, let's say, a live show, and I'm going to answer questions. And if I don't know, I'll just say I don't know, but I'll figure it out for you. And it was, and instead of straight steps up, it was like, take some steps up and then drop. Okay, let's start again, steps up and then another drop. And I just kept going. I didn't stop.
Why? Why didn't you stop? Because so many people would get 3 to 4 years in.
Yeah.
And you can see things are getting better. You can see you're making more money, but you're still not at that point where you can quit the job.
Mm-hmm.
I would love to know what got you to the point that allowed you to quit, but also what kept you going through all of that.
I think I just have a really tenacious part of me in my character that just refuses. And some of this, I'm going to go back and tell you. In high school and college, I was in sports. I was never the star athlete, like not even close. Maybe I was the last athlete crossing the finish line sometimes. And I think that taught me to not give up because only 10% of high school students are doing sports. And I thought, I want to be out there doing it. I don't want to be watching on the sidelines.
I love that because too many people think that they need the perfect plan before they start. But what you just heard proves that showing up consistently, adjusting as you go, and doing the math can still get you a 7-figure business. Now, let's move from mindset to money. Reoccurring revenue isn't just sexy, my friends. It is stability. This next clip unpacks how building a subscription box model doesn't just boost your profits, it transforms your entire business model.
400 people every single month were walking through my front door to pick up their subscription box and shopping while they were there. Like I couldn't have bought that much foot traffic if I was out on the street with a sandwich board. It was like an after effect that I hadn't even planned on. And so I had to hire another person to work the register because we were so busy on box pickup day. So it was like, okay, refresh all the displays. And then I'm going to send the email telling everybody it's time for their box to pick up, it's pickup day. And then we would get ready and the rush would kind of be so exciting. And the thing is, I thought, well, they're going to have a box. They're not going to want to buy anything else. They want all the things. Oh, this is so cute. I hadn't seen this before. And so it really drove a lot of traffic into my store as well.
Plus, on top of that, let's not forget the fact that I'm guessing at this point, like all of your expenses were covered. 400
Yes.
people we were at $40 to begin with, and the price just keeps going up. Like, just the relief of knowing that, like, I don't have to stress. This is happening.
100 was my number, Salena. So my big goal was if I got 100 subscribers, my rent and my utilities were paid for my building. And so and then everybody that shopped in the store, that was just business, right? Like that's where I made my money. So this, to me, it was like my big goal was, could I get 100 subscribers by the end of the year? I didn't know in month 3 I'd have 100 subscribers. And by the end of the year, I'd have close to 400 subscribers. And so now, remember the story of me sitting at the embroidery machine? Now I'm sitting there for days on end, just monogramming and working all weekend. Like, I got to go to the shop. I got like hundreds of things to monogram. And so, you buy more machines, and then you can run 2 monograms at once, and then you can run 3 monograms at once. So it's just a process that you figure out along the way.
So you said what you found was that people were coming into the store and just picking things up. At any point, did you kind of go, well, the box has the pajamas and the ring, but maybe we could do like a nighttime cardi or the face scrubs? Or did you start? I feel like you were probably savvy enough to work that out from the beginning. But as you're talking, I'm thinking, well, in my store, I would have the extras.
Yeah, we're going to have the matching slippers and a matching robe, right? And because I'm designing the shirts, I may go to market and buy a line of cardigans. Now I know what colors are coming. I'm going to put the ink in the shirts to match these cardigans. So now I have a $48 upsell on these 1,500 people that have the same t-shirt, right? And so things started to really click for me, and I was able to say, okay, 1,500 people are going to have this t-shirt. Let's go ahead and buy 100 of these cardigans. I'll make the shirt match, and then I'm just selling more, upselling more. And so I got really good at that over the years, and it works really well. And what I found is that our subscribers are actually our number one customer in our shop, in our e-commerce shop. I no longer have a brick and mortar, but they're our best customers. They're the ones that show up live when I'm live selling. They're the ones buying all the extra things. They're the ones buying gift boxes for people and their family at Christmas time. Like, they are our best customers.
That is amazing. And if we can just circle back to right at the beginning, I was saying that you now charge $74 a box. You're only paying $37 to get a customer, which in this world is amazing. But not only that, they're staying for 17.3 months. And so I'm just going to get out my calculator because I can't air math either. There we go. That is $1,280.20 that you are getting from a customer when you pay $37 for them.
One time. Yeah.
I mean, a lot of businesses can't even keep a customer for that long, like with constant refreshes.
Yeah.
Let alone almost guaranteed revenue.
Guaranteed revenue and guaranteed sold inventory. Remember how we were guessing what we should buy in the beginning? Now, because 80% of my revenue comes from these subscriptions, also 80% of my inventory is sold when I bought it. So I never have to play the inventory guessing game too much. I buy the 20% that I have to buy, I buy to match the subscription box so that I'm not too far off with whatever I've got. But you think about how long it takes to get a customer to come back 17 times. And you think about when we are talking about one-time sales, like how many times you have to acquire them to come back, how many times you're paying for them to come back. When that reoccurring revenue, you just pay for them one time. You love on them, you treat them well, you curate great boxes, and they're going to keep paying you over and over and over like clockwork. And every month on the 1st, my bank account is full. Every single month. I don't have to worry about it. I don't have to wake up and what'd you tell me? last time we talked. Sing for your supper. Is that what you call it?
Probably, yeah.
Okay. I call it like I used to have to wake up and pay the rent every day. Like I had to show up and sell every day
Yeah.
to make sales. And this way, no matter what's going on in my life, if I don't feel like showing up today, I don't have to. I don't have to pay the rent every day. The rent's coming on the 1st and I've got the check for it. And everything else that I do is great. If I want to go drop a new fall collection, great. I just added money to my revenue for the month, but I don't have to do anything because everything is taken care of from that reoccurring revenue.
3 stories, 3 strategies, and hopefully at least one aha moment for your business. Now, here's the part where most people just nod and move on. But you, my friends, you are not most people. You are building. And so I want you to ask yourself, what is one action you can take today? Maybe it's update your product titles. Maybe it's map out a recurring revenue stream for 2026. Maybe you'll just give yourself permission to start the next thing a little bit messy. If you're thinking about your bottom line, make sure to grab my free discount calculator. It will show you exactly how much money you will or won't make in your next discount. I've mapped it out so that you can put in different discount levels to find out just how much money you will or won't make. You can grab it for free over at salenaknight.com/calculator. Grab it at salenaknight.com/calculator. So that is Black Friday. Happy Thanksgiving and Black Friday. I will see you on the next episode. So that's a wrap. I'd love to hear what insight you've gotten from this episode and how you're going to put it into action. If you're a social kind of person, follow me at Salena Knight and make sure to leave a comment and let me know. And if this episode made you think a little bit differently or gave you some inspiration or perhaps gave you the kick that you needed to take action, then please take a couple of minutes to leave me a review on your platform of choice. Because the more reviews the show gets, the more independent retail and e-commerce stores just like yours that we can help to scale. And when that happens, it's a win for you, a win for your community, and a win for your customers. I'll see you on the next episode.